severe storm that is capable of producing that rotation. It's moving south at 20 miles an hour, and this is radar indicated rotation. So just a reminder again that flying debris is the biggest concern within rotation, and that can be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes can be damaged or destroyed within that rotation. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles also can occur, and tree damage is likely. So this severe thunderstorm that was located over Sterling just a few minutes ago, it's moving south at 20 miles an hour. And again, this is about 12 miles east of Scranton. So that tornado warning just issued a few seconds ago and remains in effect until 7:45. And this is actually our third tornado warning so far this evening. And this is not uncommon when we're talking about tropical storm hurricane activity. So of course, Tropical Storm Henri did make landfall earlier today in westerly Rhode Island. And now what we're dealing with is those outer rain bands, and that's really what we're seeing across eastern Pennsylvania now. So that steadiest and heaviest rain continuing to push in and really developing east of Interstate 81, so a bit of a closer look. What we're dealing with, again, is that tornado warning, but also heavy, heavy rain, and this is our third tornado warning so far this evening. We had one just before 6, one around 6:30, and again, this one just issued a few minutes ago. So a bit of a closer look at the area that we're talking about. So the very far eastern part of Lackawanna County, as well as the southwestern part of Wayne County, I should say. So let me stop you right there. Just south of Interstate 84 is really the area I think that we're focusing on here, again, with that rotation, and not uncommon when tropical storms, after they make landfall and they continue to weaken the outer bands, tornado warnings, tornadoes, rotation, not uncommon when we're talking about that tropical storm activity. So again, right now seeing that tornado warning in effect for just a couple more minutes until 7:45. So that rotation right in that pocket of that red, that darkest red, is our biggest concern. This storm moving towards the south at about 20 miles an hour. That tornado warning just issued a few minutes ago. So this is the third tornado warning we've had so far this evening. Let me bring you to some tornado safety tips. If you are in this area, if you know anyone in this area, making sure you're calling them to let them know this tornado warning was just issued. Flying debris is the biggest concern within tornadoes, so you want to make sure you're heading for the basement. The basement is the safest place to be if you have one. If not, getting to the lowest level of your home with as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible, so away from any windows. And then of course, protecting your head from that flying debris, the potential for that flying debris. So under a table, anything sturdy, covering your head with a pillow or a helmet or anything like that. And we are streaming on YouTube. So there is a link on our Facebook page for that YouTube link. We are streaming live on that. Otherwise, making sure you're turning up your TV so that you can hear us. We'll be on the air anytime there is that tornado warning. This one remains in effect for about 6 more minutes. So that's what we've seen so far this evening. Again, this is the third one that's been issued, but all of them that have been issued only for about 10 to 15 minutes. This because of this, again, this tropical storm Henri that made landfall earlier today, that shift in that wind direction, we're seeing that rotation. And it's brief. So a lot of times when we're on the air for tornado warnings, it could be for about 30 to even 40 minutes. But it's a little bit of a different scenario when we're talking about tropical storms and the outer bands that spin up tornado, that rotation within those outer bands of that tropical activity. So again, we are on the air for this tornado warning in effect until 7:45. There it is, that area shaded in red. So that severe storm was about 12 miles east of Scranton, and it's moving south at about 20 miles an hour. So again, the far eastern part of Lackawanna County, and it's that southwestern part of Wayne County that we are seeing that tornado warning for about 5 more minutes. And I think Kurt is also here. Confirmation from the control room? Yes, he's here.
Yes.
Hi, Kurt.
I'm here, Allie. We just got word of this tornado warning, as you were mentioning, and we are keeping a close eye on it. The tornado warning that you were talking about right there, almost the identical spot to where it was just a little while ago, that one that we had until 6:45. Of course, this is all being produced by Henri and these outer rain bands. The yellow you see there, severe thunderstorm warnings, but the red is why we're on the air right now. And we're on the air because of that system. What does it look like on the radar? Well, when we put it into motion here, and I'll run the continuous loop on it just to give you an idea so you can see for yourself. See that counterclockwise rotation? That's what we're seeing whenever we're dealing with these type of tropical systems. We're looking at the potential for anywhere from just a little bit of rain in central Pennsylvania to as much as possibly 3, maybe even 4 inches of rain in parts of eastern PA. And really, it looks like the big cutoff between the haves and the have-nots, as I've said many times over the years, is right there along Interstate 81 this time. This is where it looks like east of Interstate 81, that's where we could have, again, 3, maybe even 4 inches of rain by the time this is all said and done. But when you get to just beyond west of 81, about towards Williamsport and those areas, very little rain expected out of this system, and it's producing that severe weather as we talked about in these areas right here. So a tornado warning, southern Wayne County, going down towards Monroe County. Monroe County, as I zoom in here, not included in that, but we do have portions of southeastern Lackawanna County included in that. So we're going to watch that. Obviously, these outer rain bands creating these tornado warning conditions, but also flooding. That's really my big concern. So, Allie, I'm having a little bit of an issue with my IFB, so I'm going to send it back to you, and we'll try and get that addressed. But yeah, you're right. Eastern Pennsylvania going to be hardest hit by all of this stuff.
And thanks, Kurt. And again, this tornado warning only in effect for about 3 more minutes. The severe thunderstorm was located over Sterling, and that was why that tornado warning was issued. That radar indicated rotation. So some other areas of concern: Angels, South Sterling, Goldsboro, also Tobyhanna State Park. So I know it's been a pretty cloudy and dreary day, and of course now it's almost 8 o'clock and dark out. But if you do know anyone in this area, again, Monroe County not technically included in that tornado warning yet. It is just the eastern part of Lackawanna and the southern part of Wayne. But Tobyhanna State Park, all I think areas of concern because this storm, this severe warned storm, is moving south at about 20 miles an hour right now. So the actual tornado warning only remains in effect for another 2 minutes or so, and that's what we've seen. The last, all 3 tornado warnings have only been in effect for a couple of minutes. Kurt, they've been brief.
Yeah, they have been, and I just want to go back to Max too. And by the way, I just want to say, control room and engineering, thank you very much. You guys are doing a fantastic job. It's difficult to bounce between live shots and in studio and all that, so way to go. But I want to show you this rain totals. This is how much rain we've had so far. You can see significant amounts over eastern Pennsylvania, closing in on 1.25 inches there. Allentown an inch. If you're wondering how much more rain we can expect out of this, and again, I mentioned before, I just posted something on Facebook about this, but this gives you an idea. Additional rainfall on top of what we've already seen. So obviously the highest numbers over eastern Pennsylvania, and one of the downsides to having these tropical systems, these tornado warnings with those outer rain bands. And right now, as Allie just mentioned, it's almost in the same spot as the one that we had just a little earlier this evening. Clearly you can see the counterclockwise rotation. You see that? And that's all part of Onray, which is slowly now working its way to the northeast, but it's literally turning like this counterclockwise, and we get those rain bands with Onray, and we'll just do a quick scan on that. You can see them. That's the latest now image that we have on radar, and we just looked at some of the heavier bands right there, and this is the one producing right here. I'm going to zoom in on it. This is the one producing that tornado warning. So I'm going to give it back to Allie. Allie, I know you're reading the wire there on what's coming on as far as, I believe this one's being allowed to expire.
That one just expired at 7:45. So again, that was 3 now tornado warnings we have been on the air for, and all of them very brief, only about 10 to 15 minutes. But we, of course, will break into programming if there are any more this evening. But now that it has expired, we will send you back to your programming.